God tell you to do and watch him work it out because he has already made provision for that vision. Isaiah 43:19 is a message of hope. It reminds believers that God is always at work, bringing about new things and providing for their needs, even when the feeling is lost or overwhelming. When you're feeling lost, you're feeling overwhelmed, God is still getting ready to do what he said he's going to do. The Bible also speaks of reversal in the sense of God's transforming situations, turning around what seems impossible and overturning worldly expectation. This can refer to both personal transformation and broader historical shifting. Have anybody seen God shift some things where that they said this not going to happen, but all of a sudden it turned around and they said, how did you come out of this? And all you have to do is say it was nothing but the Lord. If it had not been for God who was on my side, where would I be? God is doing a new thing in your life, just as he promised to make a way in the wilderness and bring water to the desert. He is working to bring new life and opportunities to you. Is there anybody in the house that has been going through some things and it seemed like the bottom was falling out and God said, I'm getting ready to do something different. And when God did something different, it seemed like he said, how did that happen? And then you have folks that meant it for evil, but God turned that thing for your good. I wish somebody would tap somebody on the shoulder. I don't know about you, but the devil tried to set me up, and people tried to take me down, but God turned that thing for my good. And they tripping, figuring out how I'm still standing, even when they tried to even help the enemy out, I'm still standing. Remember, God is a God of new beginnings. He is always working to bring renewal and restoration in your lives. He makes a way where there seems to be no way. God is a God of miracles and provisions. He brings life to dry and barren places. God's presence can bring new life and validity to even the most challenging situations. Brothers and sisters, I need to talk to somebody in this house. Y'all wondering why. I said, well, you talking about reversal, but why am I still where I'm at? Let me bring you to Joseph. Joseph had some situations. He had some encounters with his brothers. Brothers hated him, didn't like him. They threw him into a pit. They were going to murder him, but one of the brothers got together and said, no, we can make some money off of him. So they pulled him out of the pit and sold him. And he went into slavery. He went to Egypt, began to prosper. Can I tell you, even in a desperate situation, God can yet cause you to prosper. He was at Potiphar's house, and yet being at Potiphar's house, God still made him to be the best of the best. That Potiphar began to get all kind of money, and his wife got to the point that, this man looks so good, this man so fine, let me have some of him. I want some of him. Since he's prospering, let him prosper with me. And he decided, he said, God didn't call me for this. He said, wait a minute, hold up. He said, your master put me in charge of everything but you. And since I'm not in charge of you, I can't touch you. And she said, I don't care. Since I'm in charge, well, then let me take your clothes and take them off. And she grabbed his coat, and he said, brother, maybe this is something for each one of us. You know, sometimes we can get low. And let me park and bring some women in this too. Sometimes we got to flee. When flesh is telling us you need it, we got to say, let me run out of here. Let me run from this. So he left his coat. And there was evidence to the husband because she lied on him. And I need to tell somebody, I don't care who lie on you, God still, the truth is going to come out, and God's going to bring you through. So would you tell your neighbor, say, don't worry about the lies, don't worry about the trip, don't worry about people messing with you, don't worry about what people done said about you, don't worry about what people done done to you. God's going to bring you through it. God's going to bring you through it at his appointed time, not your time. Just hold on. Hannah was barren. Hannah was another person that had some issues. She was barren, and she was being heckled by her husband's other mate. She had all them kids, and Hannah could not have any children. And Hannah went, and the priest, sometimes we as preachers can miss the mark. So when you tell somebody, sometimes we off. Sometimes the preacher's off. Yeah, we ain't always on point. And the preacher was looking at her and said, she drunk. And said, here she is in church drunk, just bobbling. You got a bobble head, she just bobbling. And she just mumbling. And she told him, said, my heart is vexed, and I'm grieving. And he said, why are you grieving? He said, well, man, I'm heckled, and my husband gives me double what he gives his other wife. And he gives me double, but I'm barren. And being barren as an Israelite was demeaning. And she said, I'm asking God to give me a son. God turned around and he reversed that barren womb and gave her a son by the name of Samuel. Y'all know the story, Esther. And I'm trying to hurry and get out of here. Y'all know the story, Esther. Esther was a young lady. Her uncle took her to the king's palace, and she didn't think that she was going to be queen. And all of a sudden, the king got rid of Vesti and got rid of her and took this young damsel and got her, put her in some milk and all kind of fragrance for some months. And when he went and looked in and he saw that she was fair, he picked her. But yet going through some problems, she got to some problems. Is there anybody that had some problems in their life? Some of y'all may be going through some problems right now. Well, she was going through some problems, and she had some problems where that they was about to destroy all of Israel. All of the Israelites. They said, we're going to kill them. Mordecai had set it up that Haman had set it up that they be killed. And Mordecai said, baby girl, don't think that you in the king's palace that you're going to slip by and nothing going to happen to you. He said, perhaps God brought you to this kingdom for such a time as this. I need to talk to somebody in this house and tell them to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, you don't know what God has in store for you. You're going through some stuff right now. But I need to tell you, God's about to reverse what you're going through. Somebody ought to put a praise on it right there. Somebody ought to put a big praise. Jesus and his crucifixion, they thought they had did away, and they thought they had covered everything. Pharisees said, we got rid of them now. We can get our money back. We can do money exchange, and we can do whatever we want. We ain't got to be bothered with this man, because this man, we done put him, had him put on the cross. He dead. But somebody say 3 days later, he got up with all power in his hands. Matter of fact, he had some keys. And he said, behold, I give unto you the keys of the kingdom. And he told you, he said, whatsoever you shall bind on earth, that shall be loosed in heaven. Is there anybody got some keys that they can unlock some stuff? I need to tell somebody in this house that God's about to reverse some stuff. But sometimes you just got to speak some stuff into the atmosphere. You got to change the mind of what that situation is. You got to tell the devil, not here, not today, no longer. I'm getting ready to turn some stuff around. My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. No weapon that is formed against me, it shall not prosper. Do I have any witnesses in this house? God is a sovereign God, a power. God is able to intervene and change even the most difficult situation and circumstances. Have God ever turned some circumstances around in your life when the doctor told you you was going to be dead and all of a sudden you still here, you still breathing, you still looking around, you still able to tell somebody that God is still yet a healer? Is there anybody in the house that can turn around and tell somebody God is still yet a healer? God is still yet a deliverer. God challenges human expectation. The Bible often shows how God's ways are different from human ways and that he can overturn worldly value. Have anybody seen God turn some things around where even with us, can I talk to us black folks for a minute? Everything that they throwed out that the white folks said wasn't no good, guess what? We started eating it. We started eating hog maw, started eating chitlins, hog head, made hog head cheese, pig feet. We started eating pig feet, pig tails. We started eating tripe, cow tongue. And it seemed like every time they would hold us down, we would find ourselves rising to the occasion. I'm here to tell somebody that God reverses some things. When people count you out, don't let them count you out. God counts you in. Will you slap somebody high five and say, God always counts you in when the devil counts you out? It's a reversal. God's about to reverse this thing. God's about to reverse this thing. There's hope in redemption. Reversal in the Bible often offers hope and reminds us that God is capable of redeeming even the most broken situation. Have anybody been in a situation where they thought it was all messed up and that there was no way out? God stepped in and God began to redeem and God began to turn that thing around. I need to tell somebody in this house, somebody, the doctor told you that you were not going to see tomorrow, but God turned that thing around. I need to tell Brother Josiah sitting up in the hospital ever since he got saved when he was about 10 years old. I was telling Brother Lee, he got saved right there downtown at the Sacramento Convention Center. And right after he got saved, the devil decided that he wanted to plague him. The devil told him he wasn't going to rise to 26 years of age, and yet he's past 26 years of age, laying in the hospital, and they were talking about all the bad stuff, and he had that surgery, had that brain surgery that they went in there to get that brain tumor out, and yet he's standing up, and he said, Pastor, he said, when I go in, I'm coming out. I said, I believe it. I said, what did God tell you? He went in, and he came out, and he said, he called me, he said, Pastor, I've been walking around this place, and he's been telling of the goodness of God. And he said, matter of fact, he said, they moved me to another room. I said, they did? I said, who you got to minister to? He said, this older man has some cancer. And I said, well, when you going to start ministering? He said, when he come back into the room, I'm going to minister to him. Can I talk to somebody in the house? Whenever the devil counts you out, God got something greater for you. God got something better for you. Even though when God said it's over, it's over. But when the devil says it's over, don't listen to him. Listen to what God has said. Ain't you, when the devil told you that aneurysm, you was out of here, guess what? You still here. And it's almost close to almost about 20-something years later, and you still here. Somebody ought to give somebody a high five and say, God shifts and God reverses some stuff. Even when the doctor said there's no hope, God reverses some stuff. And I stopped by to tell somebody, even some financial situations, am I the only one in the house where they told me, you can't afford this, but God turns around and he allowed you to afford a house that we was looking for over 40-something house, that then God set us up and put us into the house on the last day that they had already decided, the three people that they was going to look at to get a house. And they said, well, he can come and put his bid in. We had the lowest bid, and yet we got the house. Can somebody tell somebody God reverses some stuff in your life? God turns some stuff around in your life. But I need to tell somebody, I don't care what your paperwork says. I have some paperwork sitting over there talking about how I went through and what I'm going to go through. But I need to tell somebody God is a reverser. He turns some stuff around. Is there anybody in the house that are ready for God to turn some stuff around in their life? Would you go and grab somebody by the hand and say, God's about to reverse some stuff? God's about to reverse some stuff. God's about to turn some stuff. God, the devil meant it for evil, but God's about to turn some stuff. God's about to turn some stuff in your home. God's about to turn some stuff on your job. Where the doctors are saying that it's no hope, God told me to tell you there's hope, mama. There's hope. God done turn some stuff. God done turned some stuff. He done turned some stuff. He's reversing some stuff. Can I tell somebody when God reverses some stuff? And see, the enemy is moving forward, but then when God steps in the scene, the enemy starts backpedaling. Y'all know the story. When them big bad folks come up to you, start talking mess, and I told y'all about the stick. See, these young folks don't know nothing about that. Because they don't know nothing about to put the stick on your shoulder and then knock the stick off my shoulder, and then we ready to fight. Draw a line in the sand, and you cross that line. It's on and cracking, and most folks don't know about these new ones don't know nothing about it. And it gives you time to back up and reverse your attitude and put a check on yourself. And some folk be saying, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They got some big brothers. They got some big sisters. So let me leave that alone. And they waiting for an opportunity or something to happen. And please, and they pray, please don't let that wind or don't let them move, that stick fall off. And if that stick fall off, it's on and cracking. We're going to be fighting, and I really don't want to fight. So they kind of edge back out of the scene. And that's what the devil is about to do in your life. I'm trying to tell somebody, he's about to back up off of you. He's about to move because God's getting ready to verse some stuff. God's getting ready to turn some stuff. Even in your bills, when God is about to turn some stuff, I need to tell somebody, and Brother Lee, I'm so thankful that God then gave you another job, but that other job that you asked me to pray for, I think that's the one that God's getting. He said, I got a metal thing that works with the schools, and we do sheet metal for the school. He said, but I have another job that I'm applying for, and it's with the state, and this job, I'm a chef. And he said, he liked cooking, and that's his specialty. And so, can I prophesy and tell somebody that the chef is about to come out? Chef Lee is about to come out. Somebody need to tell somebody he's reversing some stuff. He was faithful even when he didn't have a job. He was faithful. He was doing yard work and doing all kind of things. Then he would say, Pastor, I'm coming by your house. Your gas. I don't want nothing. Brother Lee, no, you got gas that you come all the way over here. No, Pastor, I don't want nothing. And then last time he snuck over. And if Sister Gooden hadn't seen him, I would have knew that he was out there. And I was upstairs fighting through some stuff. And she said, did you know Deacon Lee was out there? I said, out where? Outside. He did the yard. I said, I thought there was a neighbors doing. And I'm going out there, and I done put clothes on, trying to get out there to see. He rushing, hurrying up, putting stuff in the trunk of the car, trying to hurry up and slide away because he didn't want me to know that that was him. I said, why you didn't come to him? He said, Pastor, I was just trying to get this and get out of here. And what he said, I'm just trying to be a blessing. Can I tell somebody in the house, you can bless somebody and God's going to reverse some stuff. It don't have to be pastor and first lady all the time. You can bless somebody else and God will reverse some stuff. God tell you to just to do something, whatever. Sister Gooden yesterday, she said, I don't miss God. This brother, he had a Caucasian, I don't know if it was a girlfriend or his wife, but the girl was sitting up there. They went and got her some water. And she was just crying, Brother Preacher. And Sister Gooden said, now they eating. Both of them got sodas and some food. And this girl sitting up here, they gave her some water. And they said, we didn't have any money. And what they did, it was school clothes or eat. And so they got a school clothes. But I told Sister Gooden if it would have been me, we would have took them 2 sandwiches and split them 3 ways. We would have took that soda and we would got 3 cups and we would have pulled it 3 ways. But they was eating and the girl was crying because, you know, back to school. And First Lady said, should I go ask them? I said, yeah. She went and asked them. God didn't say nothing. They were sitting there still eating their food. Went to the bathroom, came back. She said, should I ask them again? She said, can I buy her some food? She said, I'll ask her. The little girl decided and got happy, decided that she wanted some food, and she was so thankful. The mama, she had tears started rolling down her eyes, and she had her sunglasses on. And she came over and gave Sister Gooden the biggest hug and told her thank you. And then I guess she left and went to the bathroom out of embarrassment, but it ain't no embarrassment. If you don't have, you just don't have. But God assigns folks to help folks. And wish somebody would tell some. Sometimes a reversal comes by you helping somebody else, by you sowing it to somebody else. You see a need, feel that need, and then God begins to sow some things into your life. Is there anybody in the house that need God to do something for them? So it's good. We need God to do something. God, can I tell you what God has done with us? God has opened up a door where a young man, he was rolling us in Atlanta, Mama. Met the young man, great athlete, was supposed to go to college. Football player, could have went pro, got injured. Mama out of, what was it, Mississippi. Mama from Mississippi won't go nowhere. Sister worked for the post office, got hit by a speeding driver, drunk driver, killed her. And so the kids, they had to take care of the kids. While he was rolling us, telling us about some stuff, the Lord told me to speak into his life. And I began to speak into his life. And when he took us down to where our baggage was, he said, let me make a call. Made a call. He said, I manage at one of the finest hotels here in Atlanta. And he said, I can get y'all some room for $43 a night. And we were staying a week, and he called and got the room. He said, but he worked 3 jobs. He always worked 3 jobs. Turned around and worked for the airlines, and he said, this is what we gonna do. He said, y'all mom and pop. He always called mom and pop. He was going through some challenges and about almost died, had some heart issues and stuff because he was working 3 jobs. And he turned around and he said, Pops, he said, I gotta go to this place. He said, I don't have any money, and I need to send some money back because the hurricane had hit and tornadoes messed up his auntie's house and tore it up, and they had to give her a trailer home. And then he said, well, I got to go to St. Louis, and I got to get there in a hurry. I don't have any money. And he said, Pops, he said, I just need to borrow $150. I said, you're not going to borrow no $150. I said, check your Cash App. It's there. And because of that, what he did, he turned around and he said, I'm putting you and Mom on my airline. Y'all gonna be my mom and daddy. And so he put us on airline. He said, my mama don't go nowhere. He said, so y'all my mom and daddy. And so all we have to do is pay for the fuel and the taxes. Wherever we fly, fuel and taxes. And the boy worked so much, he said, Mom, I got something to tell you. He said, guess what? She said, what, Josh? I'm working at a hotel now. And he said, I'm Marriott Hotel. I'm a manager. And he said, now we're going to get some we gonna get some good tickets, and you can get into a hotel for little or nothing. And he called and he said, I made some reservations. And he said, in China, he said, we're going to China in for Christmas. Little Andre said, I'm going to China too. See, he said, Thaddeus is going to China, and Thaddeus said, I'm going to China. He said, we all need to go together. So we were supposed to do Christmas in China. He said, I got the hotel in China. He said, I already got it booked. Little or nothing. And I said, well, I said, hey, and Della always talking about free. I said, it ain't free. I said, we got to pay we got to pay for the fuel. And I said, we got to pay the taxes. She said, it's still free to me. I said, well, yeah, free to her because it got to come out of my pocket. But what I'm trying to say is, God reversed his life. And because you speaking to somebody's life, God will reverse your life to the point that wherever you need to go, because we was in the Bahamas, and we were in Jamaica. It wasn't no Bahamas. We was in Jamaica. She said, honey, I need to go see the grandkids. You know, she loved them grandkids. And we had a ticket that was not refundable. And so I called Josh. I said, we need to fly from Jamaica to Atlanta. He said, okay, Pop, got you. Flew, gave up the other ticket, flew in, went to Atlanta, got set up. What are you saying? What I'm trying to tell you, if God did it for me, God will do it for you. And would you look at somebody and please tell them, say, Pastor's not bragging, but what he's trying to tell you, start ministering to people that you don't know. When God tell you to talk to somebody, talk to them and watch and see. Don't miracles start happening and don't blessings start coming your way because you minister to somebody. Am I talking to anybody? I need to tell somebody that God's about to reverse some stuff in your life. God's about to turn some stuff. God's about to turn some stuff around. I need everybody to stand on your feet because I'm out of here. I need to tell somebody God's about to turn it. God's about to reverse it. Somebody, y'all don't know nothing about no stick shift. You know, the right foot is for the gas in the brake. Left foot is, what is it for? Cousin, tell them what it's for. It's the clutch. So I need somebody to pick that big left foot up, push it, pull that gear, and see on most trucks it's up, all the way up. You move it all the way to the right, push it all the way up, and that's reverse. Somebody put their gear in reverse. Come on, put it in reverse. You got it in reverse? Bag up just one step. Tell somebody, God's reversing my situation. I'm getting ready to put it in drive. And I have free access on this freeway. I don't know what God's getting ready to do. But God gave me an open highway. He done reversed some stuff. Some issues that's been going on in your body, God's done reversed it. Some situation that's going on with your home, God's done reversed it. Can I tell somebody about some court stuff? God's going to reverse some stuff. If you let him reverse some stuff, tap somebody and say, God's about to reverse some stuff. I just believe him. He says this. When you pray and believe, ye shall have whatsoever desire that you have prayed. When you pray and you have believed, whatsoever desire you have prayed, it shall be done. I don't know what desire. I don't know what you've been praying for. You ain't got to, I think he can, I think he can. He said, believe. Is there somebody in the house that say, well, preacher, I believe, but I need somebody to touch and agree. Will you please come running down here quick? And say, I really just, I just need an extra boom. Because sometimes my faith wavers just a little bit. I just need an extra.